Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we'll open a box of 2022 Topps Holiday. It's a mega box. As everyone knows, I know nothing about baseball. I posted on the Discord I wasn't going to open a video this week because of everything going on with the blizzard in western New York, but I finally got home. I got some sleep last night. I decided to open this box anyways. And since I know nothing about baseball, I'm going to tell the story of how the blizzard went and my story on it. So Friday in the morning, right before the blizzard started, a message went out for my fire department to have a standby crew ready in case the blizzard got crazy, which it ended up doing. And myself and a handful of other firefighters showed up at our station one for the blizzard. There goes my ornament I just throw across the floor. If I can even pick it up now. There we go. Clayton Kershaw. So anyways, the storm starts. We get a minor call for like a storm-related car accident. It was nothing really important. It was important, but it wasn't anything crazy, just a regular call. And I ended up being the officer in charge, so I set some assignments, and we got a EMS call, which I sent the ambulance out with a couple of people on it, and it was so bad that the ambulance had to go to a neighboring fire company because it was closer and they could get to it. And they ended up stuck there with the two members of the crew overnight at the neighboring fire company. So we had another call for wires and trees down, which I jumped on our rescue and went. And we were heading down the road that was on. And we ended up hitting a bunch of stranded cars. And we couldn't make it to where the call was because there were too many cars stranded in the road. So in the middle of the blizzard, with very little visibility, we had to back our truck all the way down the road. So we had two people behind it guiding it so we wouldn't go off the road. Once we realized all these cars were stranded with people in it, we parked our rescue on the main road and got our UTV out there and started taking turns driving down the road rescuing people. And when our rescue truck was full, we'd drive it back to the station, drop the people off, drive it back to the main road where the side road was, and start going with our UTV and bringing in more people. So it was my turn. I was out on the UTV to rescue some people, and I was on my way. It was so hard to see, you couldn't see anything, so I ended up like trying to follow telephone poles. I was driving down and I hit this car that was disabled in the middle of the road, stranded there, and there was no one in it. So I went to the right because I thought it might be at the end of a driveway instead of in the middle of the road, and I ended up following the telephone poles on the wrong side, so I was in a field instead of on the road. And I eventually made it to the cars I was trying to get to, and I loaded up two more people. And as we were driving back down the road in the middle of this blizzard with no visibility, the UTV died, like the battery on it died. And even though it was a little scary and I was like, what am I going to do? I had to keep my head straight for the people that I was trying to rescue. So I had them wait the UTV, went to a house that was right across where we were. And now there's a backwards car. There's probably some kind of short print. Anyways, I got them to a safe place in the end, and eventually a big piece, like it was a company or a group of people called Snow Seekers, and they got a groomer to me and got me and the woman out of the house. The other guys with us had to stay in the house overnight, but the woman's kids were at our fire station already, so we previously rescued them. So they get me back to the station, although this groomer has like these spotlights and these bright lights, and you still could not see anything because it was just snowing so hard and blowing so hard. So I got back to the station. And at that point, because our UTV had died, it became more of a take care of the people who were at the station. As you know, the police kept dropping off people that they were able to rescue, and we had a bunch of people we rescued. And you know, we had some people do food runs through the weather in big pickup trucks and bring us food to cook for all these people. And I ended up spending like 55, 60 straight hours at the fire hall. The first night I didn't sleep at all since I was in charge. I was answering texts and phone calls and trying to keep everything together. The second night I ended up passing out for a little bit. We rescued a lot of people that night and throughout the storm. We ended up having to drive to, a couple of our members went to a church that was maybe a couple miles down the road and managed to get into it, and they had to dig out the entrances, get into it, and then they started having a second place where we were rescuing people and taking them to. It was crazy. I was getting phone calls from people who were panicked about their loved ones, or panicked themselves because their loved ones were trapped or they were trapped. And like, the blizzard was so bad that like emergency services were no longer able to get through it. So like, I had to tell people that no one's coming to help you or your loved one. Like, you were just on your own, basically. Thankfully, you know, in my town so far, at least, they haven't had any fatalities. So I feel like we did our job saving as many people as we could. And, you know, once we couldn't get apparatus and trucks out anymore, we basically were trying to take care of the people at our station. And, you know, we spent the 3 days, you know, cooking for them and trying to provide as much comfort as we could. And we didn't have enough beds and blankets for them, so we actually had to bring out old turnout gear, firefighter gear, and use them for the people for blankets and something to lay on instead of the hard floor, just so that they, you know, had a place to sleep. It was crazy. It was a crazy 3 days. I was exhausted. I was really tired by the end of it. I'm still tired today, honestly, mentally, more so than physically, just because I spent 3 days, you know, making all the decisions and having people, you know, everything was in my hands for those 3 days. Like, when I was sending firefighters out to, you know, dig out that church, I was hopeful they could get in the church, because it was life-threatening situations. It was crazy. We had, like, one of our members went out on a snowmobile on his road trying to rescue some people, and he got a snowmobile stuck a couple times. He actually spent the night sleeping inside a state police car that was also stuck on the side of the road there, because he couldn't get back home even though he lived down the road with his snowmobile, because it was so bad. It was crazy. I give a lot of credit to everyone for everything they did in it, but it was crazy. It had its moments that were scary. The people we rescued, I'm sure, appreciate it, because we got all kinds of thanks and praise and everything else. But it wasn't easy. It was a tough 3 days, and everyone was tired, I'm sure. And as I'm doing this, like, my town is pretty much back to normal, but like, some of the neighboring towns have crews from other counties still in them, trying to help them so that their firefighters can get a break. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Nice. There's the Jersey card, I guess. But I think we made a difference. I think we saved a lot of people. I think people appreciate what we did. It was a tough, like I said, tough 3 nights. So these are the Jersey card. These are the parallels, the Gold Cup parallel there. And this was the backwards card, so it's got the lights around his neck, which is what I think the I just don't know. I know there were 3 different codes for whether they were short print, super short print, or whatever. I just can't remember what the what numbers were what, so I don't remember what that is. But yeah, that's my break, obviously, and my blizzard story. It was insane how much snow we got, how crazy it was, and I don't know. I like to think we made a difference and saved a lot of people. And I mean, there was a point where there was a woman calling the fire hall about her son who wasn't dressed for the weather, who was stranded right near where we actually had the second center we opened, and like he legit was gonna die. He had no gas left. He was stuck there, and thankfully I was able to direct the firefighters to where he was to rescue him, and we got thanks for that. And you know, there are other people in the same situation that we managed to rescue, or the person that was on that snow equipment out there that rescued me was able to rescue. It was a crazy storm, and hopefully I won't have to ever experience that again the rest of my life. Well, I'm sure there's more, but that's all I'm gonna go into right now. But I thank you for everyone who watched this break. Feel free to comment on how I did, since I don't really know baseball very well. And thank you for listening to my story about the blizzard, because it was quite the experience. So that's gonna do it. I'll see everyone in the next video.